Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a pretty serious show for you guys that we want you guys to stick around for. So please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, this Kyrie thing just doesn't seem to be ending, right? Every day is something new. Every day is something new, something to talk about. This thing happened, that thing happened, and now, with people like LeBron James kind of chiming into the conversation, is even creating more conversation around this Kyrie Irving thing. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. As you know, every major sports media company out there, a serious one, is talking about this Kyrie Irving situation. It's the thing that's dominating the headlines if you're in sports media and in the NBA specifically. And yesterday, on Undisputed, Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless had a very heated exchange on the matter. Now, quick backstory before we actually get into that. Shannon Sharpe and Skip have been talking about this Kyrie Irving thing, and Shannon took a very firm position against Kyrie Irving, and he made his feelings pretty clear. But now, after the Brooklyn Nets released the 6 items, the 6 steps that Kyrie Irving would need to go through in order to return to the team, some people started to feel like, okay, wait a minute, this is a little bit excessive. And now you're starting to see some people change their positions, modify where they stand, and Shannon Sharpe was one of them. Now all of a sudden he's supporting Kyrie Irving. So yesterday on Undisputed, Skip and Shannon's Undisputed, they were talking about it. And you know, prior to yesterday, Skip and Shannon seemed to be on one accord with this Kyrie Irving situation. But yesterday, something unforeseen happened. Yesterday, Skip and Shannon ended up getting into a pretty serious quarrel where it looked like they drew lines in the sand and they weren't going to back off their position. So for those of you who missed the exchange, it was a long segment. It was about a 20-minute segment. So what we did was we put together the most important parts that we feel will give this video enough context, so when we come back and start talking about it, things will make sense. So what we want to do is we want to play these parts that I think are very important. We want you guys to just kind of be patient with us, watch it, and then we're going to come back and unpack this thing because you don't want to miss my take on this thing. So take a listen to this exchange here, and then we'll come back and react to it. Take a listen to that there.
LeBron was right. I believe the punishment went beyond what was necessary. I believe it was excessive. That being said, he would have apologized, came late, he apologized. He would have served his 5-game suspension. So now what? What do you want now? What do you want now? I mean, what is it now? Where do we go from here, Skip? So what do you want? You want him to grovel back? You want him to take out a PSA in the New York Times, the Washington Post? What do you want him to do? You want him to take out an ad, buy a 30-second spot on one of the major networks? Is that what you want? You said you want an apology. He apologized. You wanted him to serve 5-game suspension. He would have served that. So now it would be time to allow a Kyrie to come back. I hope Nike revisits this. They Phil Knight said, you know, I think you were probably done, but Skip, after maybe a month or two of suspending the relationship, I hope they revisit it. Because I don't believe Kyrie should have lost everything the man worked so hard for because he posted something to his link. He was wrong. I believe he was wrong. The community that was disparaged believes he was wrong. So, but Skip, I believe it's enough now. I believe Kyrie would have paid a severe penalty. I believe it's time for him to come back.
I appreciate everything you just tried to say, but it's offensive to me for many reasons. And I think you are risking insensitivity just as LeBron just risked more insensitivity.
How?
The link that Kyrie posted, you're suggesting was only insensitive to Jewish people, like other people don't see how that's that insensitive. So the examples you gave aren't remotely close to what the link that Kyrie posted. They're not even remotely, they're not even in the stratosphere with what Kyrie posted. And when you post a link like that, You are not only endorsing, you are promoting said link. And I don't want to hear the excuse of he didn't know. He is highly intelligent. He knew. You said yesterday he knew.
Yes.
You said yesterday you doubted the sincerity of his apology. That's what you said
But
yesterday.
Skip, an apology is not whether or not it's sincere. You said, I need you to apologize. He apologized. How do you know what's in a man in his or her heart? Do you believe every apology that's ever been rendered was sincere? Because now you're saying he's lying, or you say, so I need to believe. So every person that apologizes moving forward is a liar, because based on what you're saying.
I mean, you said he wasn't sincere, so we can only deal with this one this time.
But Skip, it doesn't matter. They didn't say it had to be sincere. They said he needed to apologize.
Okay. He apologized after he got suspended and after he lost his shoe deal. And you can't tell me it wasn't spurred by the fact that it was hurting his pocketbook.
Yes.
That he was shocked that they actually went to the lengths of suspending him. And then further, that he lost his shoe deal and his next big showcase shoe. My point to you in the big picture, and I know this is a slippery slope, you have to make sure that Kyrie realizes the depth of posting that link to Jewish people, the fear that it caused, not just the hurt, the fear that it causes because of the potential encouragement of hate crimes.
Okay.
So that's why even LeBron's post, I love him for all he does socially, but I don't think he has a real feel for this, or he wouldn't post that. He would just stay away from it.
But Skip, here's the thing. You can believe someone said something wrong and can believe the punishment is excessive. Why do they have to be why they can't be?
To me, this is just me. I think you have to go at least double-digit games of suspension. I believe he stepped completely over the edge here in trying to uphold African-American heritage and culture. It was at the expense of Jewish people and to a certain extent Christian people. Not that there's hate crimes that direction,
Right.
but I'm just saying this film and this book also suggests that the whole Bible was a lie invented by Jewish people and Christian people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's so heinous to me, the potential for this, that you have to send a message to not only the other NBA players, but you have to send a message to everyone in this country. This will not be accepted anymore because it's way too dangerous.
Well, let me tell you why some of the black people are rallying behind Kyrie and Kanye. It says that because when blacks have a misstep, it seems like we suffer the harshest penalties. It seems like other groups offend blacks, and they never suffer the penalty that Kyrie and Kanye have suffered. I remember when Bob McNair said what he said. What did they do? They went and trotted out one of the most prominent black coaches in the circle. And nobody said, well, when he said, well, the Bob McNair that I know, that's not in his heart. Nobody said, hey, Tony, he's going to speak like that in front of you, like you just said about Kyrie to Adam Silver. Okay. You see, it seems to us, and it seems to me, that as black people say... So
on McNair, what are we talking about? What he said, the inmates run the prison or something like that?
Yeah, and it's the asylum. But he said the asylum.
Okay, all right, that's what it was, yeah.
But Skip, here's the thing. It seems like to us, a lot of us, not all, some of us, a large portion of us, is that black are bound by shackles. We're held more accountable for our actions and our words, where our counterparts are with cobwebs. They're easily brushed aside. Shannon, he apologized. He or she said they were sorry. Why can't we get the same benefit of the doubt? Okay. Kyrie was wrong, but I believe Kyrie was wrong, but I also can believe the punishment was excessive.
So you heard the exchange. As I said, when this thing initially broke, I said it, and we posted this on our YouTube community board on the channel. I said this is a very nuanced conversation, and a lot of people are trying to approach this thing from a very simplistic standpoint. And I said that's the wrong way to approach it. Just yesterday, Gottlieb from Fox Sports Media, in a very surprising manner, was actually cursing on FS1, and he gave his raw opinions about the situation. And his particular take was, listen, Kyrie, you just need to apologize because your boss says so, right? So if your boss tells you to go jump off the bridge, Doug, you're going to follow him because your boss is paying you. Doug gave his answer. He gave his opinion, and that's fine. That's his position. No worries, right? In terms of this exchange between these two gentlemen, first of all, I've been one of those people that had a serious problem with the requirements that the Brooklyn Nets were putting forward for Kyrie Irving. Number one. Number two, I think the Brooklyn Nets totally handled this thing the wrong way, and it started off when Joe Tsai originally, put those comments out publicly about Kyrie Irving, and I said at that time, I said, why didn't they just have a conversation first before he put that out publicly? That's where things really started, if you guys remember properly. I didn't like the way Joe Tsai was jumping into this thing as someone that was born in Taiwan, as a Canadian Chinese background. I didn't like the way it came off of him educating Kyrie. I didn't like that didn't sit well with me. Now, some people have an issue with that. That's your bloody business. I'm just not okay with an outsider coming down and sitting down and explaining to me and educating me about my history. That's madness. Will not go for it, ever, ever will. If you try to do that with the worst thing you can do is try to lecture people about where they're from. If you want people to insult you and really turn people off, is when you do something like that. You don't do it. You just avoid it. And I didn't like that. And that didn't sit well with me. At that time, I was one of the few people saying that, but now it seems more people are on that accord with me. That's the one thing. They punished Kyrie Irving in terms of giving him a 5-game suspension. Kyrie Irving put out this statement, right? And I said in one of our shows, they did pretty well. It was actually, I believe, that Jalen Rose show. And I said that, what else? What is this new thing that you want from Kyrie Irving? Like, what's this new thing that you want him to do? Do you want every bit of flesh off of his body? And that is the point, I believe, that Shannon Sharpe was arguing, which was, okay, you fined him. He's been humiliated publicly. He lost his deal with Nike, at least for now, right? He's lost money, right? So what's this thing? What else do you need? And then Skip says, no, he needs to be taught a lesson. And I think that he needs an additional 5 games, right? To really send the message. And Shannon's point was, whenever blacks do something, whenever punishment comes down, it comes down with a heavy hand. A very, very, very heavy hand. Whereas when it's in the reverse, they tell him, oh, no, it's fine, man. He didn't mean what he said. It was an apology. Just go home and lick your wounds is all. It's okay. And to that point, Shannon Sharpe made an absolute point. Now, if you don't think that is true, then you're living on the moon. You're living on the moon. Okay? If you live in the world and you're looking at it with an honest lens and not sitting there lying to yourself, you understand that these things exist. They just do. Whether you like it or not is irrelevant. It exists. So the point that Shannon made was 100% on point. He's like, they don't get that same grace, right? It's like, no, it's always a heavy hand. And I understand that point he's trying to make. Now, Skip is saying, no, the punishment should be even more excessive. And to Skip and others that feel that way, the question is why? Why do you feel like what's already transpired is not enough? Right? Why do you feel like what's already transpired is not enough? And that's where you're going to see the black community really stand up, because they're not standing up simply because of what Kyrie now is going through. They're standing up for what has happened historically. And they're like, wait a bloody minute. And when you put things into that perspective, into that lens, it gives the argument more gravitas. And people are going to say, no, well, judge it on an individual basis, but that's not how the world works, and it's never worked that way. So I agree with Shannon's point. I think with Kyrie, he's already served his punishment. I think the rest of it is they're just trying to humiliate him. That's all it is. That's all it is at this point. Now, some people will say, no, you don't understand. That's your bloody freaking business. Who in the hell are you to be telling us how to feel about it? You crazy with the amount of stuff that people have gone through. If I speak on a personal level, some of the experiences that I've had, and then you're going to have some come up to me and tell me, oh, no, this is how you need to feel about it. You crazy. So the people that are saying that, you need to sit down. Number one. Number two, what is up with these? What is it? Huh? You've caught him. He's admitted he's wrong. He's paid the penalty. It's not enough. You want to flog him until every piece of flesh flies off of his skin so you get your fill, right? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? That's not even a Christian thing to do. What did they say in the Bible? God said, if somebody does you wrong, right? If they do you wrong, and he reprimands that person, he says if he sees you enjoying it, he will remove his wrath on that person and put it on you. What is this? Should he lay down on the floor and everybody should give him his lashes to say it's enough? And to Shannon's point, why didn't y'all keep that same energy before? People want to pick and choose. There's a lot of things I can say that I won't say. The hypocrisy is flagrant and it stinks. You need to sit down and think very well before you start sitting there with a self-righteous lens and start talking about what so-and-so did. Sit down well and think on your own sins carefully. That's all I'll say. All of a sudden, people want to get offended. I won't even go any further than I want to go. Enough is enough. What is this now? What is this now? What do you want to do to him? What's the new thing you want to do? You've taken the guy's money. You've taken his spirit. You've humiliated him. What other thing do you want? For the people in the comment section watching this particular show here, don't type me anything to tell me why I should understand your point of view. I could give a damn about what Doug Gottlieb is talking about. Give a damn. He's not had the same experiences that most of us have had. So I don't give a damn about his opinion. Who the hell is he to be sitting up there talking about you need to feel this way, you need to feel that? Who in the hell are you? Does he understand what the hell has happened globally? He needs to go sit down and close his mouth. He needs to go sit down and close his mouth. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Please, spare me. You don't get the benefit of the doubt. When you see me, you know what I am. You don't get that benefit of the doubt. So please, keep your mouth closed. What is wrong with you? This is my position on this. So for the people, they're going to write to me in the comments telling me, oh, no, you're wrong and this and this. And I am not interested. Because it's, as I said in that video before, if it's not happening to me, it's going to happen to somebody else that looks just like me. And none of you jokers are going to stand up for me because you never did. You never did. When did all of a sudden we get so sensitive about words? All of this things that get said in music. When they saying that about blacks, y'all be sitting there twerking it up and dancing it up, singing it. No problemo because it's entertainment. Man, please. These are my thoughts and opinions. I'll catch y'all on the next show. I'm done.